What would you do if you were alone and your chest suddenly felt heavy, your breathing grew shallow, and your energy dropped without warning? Most people panic, but after the age of 60, many don't even recognize the signs that something serious is happening. Here's a chilling truth. In the short time it takes to watch this video, dozens of older adults will suffer a heart attack, and nearly half of them will be alone when it happens. Many of those who don't survive never had a chance to call for help, not because they didn't care about their health, but because they simply didn't know what to do in those first critical minutes. That's why this video exists. The life-saving protocol you're about to learn was developed by Dr. Thomas Harlan, a respected cardiologist who has spent over 4 decades helping older adults navigate heart disease and emergency care. After treating thousands of patients, one pattern became clear. Most heart attack fatalities happen before reaching a hospital because of delay, confusion, or denial. But it doesn't have to be that way. Dr. Harlan's 7-step survival method is designed for exactly this situation. No one wants to imagine facing a heart attack alone. These aren't abstract ideas. They're the exact same steps that helped Harold, a 73-year-old widower, survive a major cardiac event alone in his kitchen last spring. Welcome to Elderly Wisdom Life, the channel dedicated to life-saving, life-changing advice tailored specifically for older adults. Whether you live by yourself or spend much of your day alone, this video could be the most important thing you watch this year. Because heart attacks after 60 often show up in unexpected ways. The symptoms can be vague, the body reacts differently, and when you're alone, every minute matters even more. In this video, you'll learn how to recognize those subtle signals, respond with precision, and take control when no one else is around. This is not a replacement for emergency care. It's a guide to help you stay alive until that care arrives. Before we begin, if you find this information helpful, please click like and share it with someone you care about. You never know whose life you might be saving. And if this is your first time here, consider subscribing to Elderly Wisdom Life for more health guidance designed especially for seniors. Let's begin. Tip number 1. Recognize the real warning signs for seniors. The first and most important life-saving step is learning to recognize the real warning signs of a heart attack, especially in older adults. Because the truth is, what you expect might not be what actually happens. Many of us were taught that a heart attack means intense chest pain and collapsing to the ground. But for people over 60, especially women, the signs are often far more subtle. In fact, recent studies show that up to 40% of seniors who suffer a heart attack never feel the classic chest pain at all. Instead, what happens are symptoms that medical professionals call atypical, but in reality, they're incredibly common among seniors. Let me tell you about Margaret, a 79-year-old woman who lives alone. One morning, she felt unusually tired after making her bed. She felt a little dizzy, slightly nauseous, and just not quite herself. There was no chest pain, no dramatic moment, just a quiet sense that something wasn't right. Thankfully, Margaret had read about heart attack symptoms in older adults. She called emergency services immediately. Doctors later told her that if she had waited even another 30 minutes, the outcome could have been very different. So what are these atypical symptoms that you should never ignore? First, a sudden wave of unusual fatigue, the kind that feels heavier and deeper than normal tiredness. Second, shortness of breath, even with light activity, like walking to the bathroom or across the kitchen. Third, cold, clammy sweating that doesn't match the temperature or your level of exertion. Fourth, nausea or stomach discomfort that might feel like indigestion. Fifth, dizziness or confusion, especially sudden changes in mental clarity. Sixth, pain in unusual areas like the jaw, back, neck, or either arm, not just the chest. And seventh, trouble sleeping or feeling more exhausted than usual in the days leading up to the event. For older women, the most common symptoms are often fatigue, nausea, and breathlessness without any chest pain at all. Have you ever felt any of these and thought it was just aging? Let me know in the comments. Recognizing these signs early and trusting your instincts can truly be the first step that saves your life. Coming up next, we'll go over exactly what to do if you notice these signs while you're alone. Tip number 2, call 911 immediately. Don't try to drive yourself. This second tip may seem obvious, but it's one of the most common and dangerous mistakes seniors make. The moment you feel something might be wrong, chest pressure, unusual fatigue, shortness of breath, stop what you're doing and call 911 immediately. Do not try to drive yourself. Your top priority is to activate emergency medical help without delay. Why the urgency? Because every minute without treatment allows more heart muscle to die. The American Heart Association reports that within just 10 minutes of untreated heart attack symptoms, the damage can start becoming permanent. After 30 minutes, the consequences may be life-altering. Driving yourself might feel faster or more independent, but it's riskier than most people realize. First, focusing on the road increases your physical and mental stress, forcing your already weakened heart to work harder. Second, if your condition worsens mid-drive, you could lose control of the vehicle, putting yourself and others in danger. And third, calling 911 brings professional help to your door. Emergency responders begin treatment the moment they arrive, administering oxygen, medications, CPR if needed, and alerting the hospital in advance so the cardiac team is ready. Let me tell you about a man named Henry, a 73-year-old former mechanic who always prided himself on fixing things himself. One day, while home alone, he felt tightness in his chest and lightheadedness. His first thought was to drive to the hospital, but he remembered something his doctor once said: "You can't fix your heart while driving a car." He called 911 instead. That decision likely saved his life. If you ever experience these symptoms while alone, here's what you should do. 1. Sit down or lie in a comfortable position. 2. Call 911 immediately, even if you're unsure it's a heart attack. 3. Tell the dispatcher, "I'm a senior experiencing possible heart attack symptoms." 4. Unlock your front door if you're able, so paramedics can enter if you lose consciousness. 5. Use a medical alert device, if you have one, to ensure someone stays on the line with you. You might feel tempted to call your spouse, children, or a friend first, but please don't. Every second counts. Call 911 first. Then, if you still have time, notify someone you trust. Calling for help is not a sign of weakness. It's wisdom, it's strength, it's choosing life. Have you or someone you know ever hesitated to call 911 during an emergency? What happened and what would you do differently today? Share your experience in the comments. Your story might help someone else make the right decision in a critical moment. Tip number 3. Take aspirin correctly. Timing and dosage matter. One of the most powerful tools you already have in your home could be sitting quietly in your bathroom cabinet. It's not high-tech. It's not expensive, but it could help save your life during a heart attack if you take it correctly. We're talking about aspirin. It's a simple pill with life-saving potential. But there's one catch. How and when you take it matters more than most people realize. Here's why. During a heart attack, a blood clot forms and blocks blood flow in one of the heart's arteries. Aspirin helps slow that process by stopping your blood platelets from sticking together and making the clot worse. Studies have shown that taking aspirin at the onset of a heart attack can lower your chance of death by more than 20%, but only if it's taken the right way. At the right moment. Let me tell you about Carol, a 71-year-old who did almost everything right. She felt an odd tightness in her chest and a wave of fatigue. She remembered reading that aspirin could help, so she took one immediately, but she made 2 small mistakes. She swallowed the aspirin whole and drank it down with a large glass of water. When the paramedics arrived, she was stable, but later, during recovery, her doctor explained that those small errors had delayed how fast the medicine reached her bloodstream. So what's the right way to take aspirin if you think you're having a heart attack? First, call 911. Then, take 1 full-strength, 325 milligrams, uncoated aspirin or 4 baby aspirins. Don't swallow it whole. Chew it thoroughly before you swallow. This gets it into your system in about 5 minutes, compared to 20-30 minutes if swallowed. Use only a tiny sip of water, just enough to help you swallow. When paramedics arrive, tell them exactly what you took and when. If you have allergies to aspirin, bleeding disorders, or are on blood thinners, always follow your doctor's advice and skip this step if you've been told to. Also, make sure it's real aspirin, not acetaminophen or ibuprofen, which don't help in this situation. One more thing, don't wait until a crisis happens to go looking for aspirin. Keep it in easy-to-reach spots: your bedside, purse, kitchen, and car. Now let me ask, did you already know about the chewing method? Or was this new for you? Let me know in the comments. You could help someone else just by sharing what you've learned. Remember, aspirin is not a replacement for emergency care. It's a critical support measure, not a cure. But combined with calling 911, it could give you those extra minutes that save your life. Tip number 4, position yourself for survival. Tip number 4 might seem simple, but it can mean the difference between recovery and serious complications. It's all about how you position your body while you wait for emergency help. Contrary to what many people believe, lying flat on the floor isn't always the safest choice during a heart attack, especially for older adults. Your heart is already under stress. The way you sit or lie can either support your heart or make it work even harder. Let me tell you about Harold, a 78-year-old who lives alone. One afternoon, he began feeling chest pressure and shortness of breath. Remembering a scene from an old television show, he laid down completely flat on the floor, but within minutes, his breathing became harder and he started to panic. When paramedics arrived, they immediately raised his upper body and explained that flat positioning was restricting his lungs and forcing his heart to strain even more. So what's the right position? It depends on what you're feeling. If you're having shortness of breath, sit upright with your back supported and your knees either bent or straight. This is called the high Fowler's position, and it allows your lungs to expand better and eases the workload on your heart. If you're feeling lightheaded or dizzy, lean back slightly about 45 degrees with a pillow or cushion behind your back and head. This helps blood continue flowing to your brain without placing too much pressure on your heart. Feeling nauseous? Sit upright and gently turn slightly to your left side. This can help prevent aspiration in case vomiting occurs, which is a risk many seniors don't think about. No matter what your symptoms are, the key is this: do not stand, do not walk, and do not pace around. Movement increases your heart rate and the risk of fainting or falling. Instead, find a stable, comfortable spot where you won't be at risk if you lose consciousness. You should also loosen any tight clothing around your neck, chest, or waist to make breathing easier. And if you're feeling cold, cover yourself with a light blanket. Shivering increases your heart's workload, and that's the last thing you need during a heart attack. Choose a location near your unlocked front door if possible, so emergency responders can find and reach you quickly. If you're upstairs, do not try to walk down. Instead, call 911 and clearly state your location inside the house. These adjustments may seem small, but they can give your body the fighting chance it needs while you wait for professionals. And before we move on to the next tip, take a moment to think about something. Do you know where in your home you'd go if this happened to you? If you've thought it through, share your plan in the comments. It might help someone else prepare too. Tip number 5, control your breathing with the 4-7-8 technique. Tip number 5 could be one of the most powerful tools you have during a heart attack, especially if you're alone. It's not a medication, it's not a machine, it's your breath. When you experience a heart attack, panic can take over in seconds. Your body floods with adrenaline, your heart races, and your breathing becomes fast and shallow. But in this moment, slowing your breath can actually slow the damage to your heart. That's why learning a simple breathing method called the 4-7-8 technique could help save your life. Let me tell you about Elaine, a 72-year-old woman who experienced a sudden pressure in her chest while gardening alone. Her first instinct was fear, but instead of letting panic take control, she remembered this breathing pattern. She later told her doctor, Focusing on my breathing gave me a lifeline. It helped me stay calm and gave me something to hold on to until help arrived. So, how does the 4 to 7 -8 technique work? Start by sitting upright in a stable and supported position, just like we discussed in the previous tip. Now, gently rest the tip of your tongue behind your upper front teeth and keep it there during the entire process. Step 1. Exhale fully through your mouth, making a soft whooshing sound. Step 2. Close your mouth and inhale quietly through your nose, mentally counting to 4. Step 3. Hold your breath for a count of 7. If you can't hold for that long, just do what feels safe. Step 4. Exhale slowly through your mouth to a count of 8. Using the same soft whooshing sound, repeat this cycle 4 times, or as long as it feels comfortable while waiting for emergency help. Why is this effective? Because long, slow exhales activate the parasympathetic nervous system, your body's calm mode. It can gently lower your heart rate, reduce blood pressure, and improve oxygen delivery. All of these are vital when your heart is under stress. Even more, this technique helps you feel in control. When fear rises and everything feels uncertain, focusing on your breath grounds you. It gives your mind and body something simple but powerful to do. It may even help you speak more clearly when emergency responders arrive. Have you ever used deep breathing to calm yourself in a stressful moment? If so, share your experience in the comments. Your story could help someone else find calm in a crisis. And remember, this breathing technique is not a replacement for medical care, but it can give you precious minutes that matter. Tip number 6. Self-administer chest compressions if necessary. Now let's talk about something that most people have never been taught because it's rarely discussed outside of emergency rooms. But if you ever find yourself completely alone, in a remote area, and feeling like you're on the verge of blacking out during a heart attack, this knowledge could buy you a few extra moments to survive. It's called a self-compression technique. And before we go further, let's be clear. This is not traditional CPR. You cannot and should not try to perform standard CPR on yourself. It's physically impossible to apply effective compressions while unconscious. But in extreme cases, there is a modified version that may help circulate blood temporarily until professional help arrives. One of my former patients, Harold, age 76, was alone at his lakeside cottage when he felt a crushing sensation in his chest and began to fade. With no phone signal and no one nearby, he instinctively tried something he remembered reading in an old survival article. That action may have saved his life. Here's what he did and what you can do too. Only as a last resort, lie down flat on a hard surface like the floor. Avoid soft surfaces like beds or couches. As they absorb pressure, make a fist with one hand and place the knuckle side in the center of your chest. Over your breastbone, use your other hand to push the fist firmly into your chest. Then release. Repeat this motion with enough force to slightly compress your chest about 2 inches deep if possible. Aim for a pace of around 100 compressions per minute. A good mental cue is the rhythm of the song Staying Alive. Why does this matter? In medical terms, the heart stops circulating blood effectively during certain cardiac events. This self-compression approach can provide minimal circulation to the brain and heart, not a cure, but a critical bridge that may help you remain conscious just long enough. Important warnings. This technique is not recommended for everyone. Seniors with osteoporosis or brittle bones risk rib injuries. It should only be attempted if all other options like calling emergency services, taking aspirin, and positioning yourself correctly have been done, and you still feel yourself losing consciousness. If you've never heard of this before, you're not alone. It's rarely taught, and yet, in the right context, it could mean the difference between life and death. Have you ever learned any kind of emergency survival tip like this? Share your thoughts or experiences in the comments. And if you found this helpful, give it a thumbs up so more seniors can gain access to life-saving knowledge. Next, we'll talk about what to prepare before a heart attack ever happens so you're never caught off guard. Tip number 7, prepare in advance. Create a heart attack action plan. Our 7th and final tip might be the one that makes the biggest difference, not during a heart attack, But before it ever happens, the most powerful tool you can have is a personalized heart attack action plan made ahead of time and reviewed regularly. Why is this so crucial? Because when a heart attack strikes, your ability to think clearly often disappears. Pain, panic, and lack of oxygen to the brain can all cloud judgment. For older adults, this confusion tends to be even stronger. That's why preparation matters. Let me tell you about Grace, a 79-year-old retired nurse who lives independently. After surviving a mild heart episode years ago, she created a detailed emergency plan. When she later faced a real heart attack alone at home, she didn't hesitate. "I didn't need to think," she told me. "I just followed the steps I had written down months before." That clarity saved her life. Here's how to build your own plan. First, create a simple medical information card. Include your full name, age, medical conditions, current medications, allergies, emergency contacts, and your physician's details. Keep one copy in your wallet and another in a visible place at home. Many people use their refrigerator with a magnet. Second, place uncoated aspirin tablets in easily accessible locations around your house and in your purse or wallet. This isn't the same as Tylenol. Aspirin helps thin the blood quickly if chewed. Third, program emergency contacts into your phone using the label ICE, which stands for "In Case of Emergency." Many smartphones also have a built-in medical ID feature. Take 5 minutes to set it up. It could save your life. Fourth, if you live alone, consider using a medical alert device. Modern options include wearable pendants or smartwatches with automatic fall detection and emergency calling. Fifth, make sure your house number is clearly visible from the street. Especially at night, emergency responders can't help you if they can't find you. Sixth, rehearse your response. Practice locating your aspirin, unlocking doors quickly, and moving to your safest position. Muscle memory kicks in even when your brain can't think clearly. Seventh, talk with a family member, neighbor, or trusted friend about your plan. Consider daily or weekly check-in calls, especially if you have heart disease history, and review your plan every 6 months or after any medication changes. Finally, speak with your doctor about whether you should have nitroglycerin on hand. It's a prescription medication that can quickly improve blood flow in a crisis. Have you created a plan for yourself or a loved one? Share your story in the comments. By preparing ahead, you're not living in fear, you're empowering yourself with a plan that might save your life. Let me share with you what happened to Harold, a 72-year-old retired teacher who lived alone in a small town after losing his wife. Gardening had become his therapy, a quiet space to connect with nature and process his grief. One spring afternoon, while planting tomatoes, Harold suddenly felt an odd pressure in his upper back and a wave of exhaustion that didn't feel quite right. But Harold wasn't caught off guard. Months before, he had learned about the subtle heart attack symptoms in seniors and created a step-by-step emergency plan. That knowledge became his lifeline. He didn't wait. He stopped working, took a deep breath, and followed his plan exactly as he had practiced. First, he called 911. Then he reached into his pocket for the aspirin he always carried and chewed it while sitting upright against the side of his garden shed. He remembered his breathing technique 4-7-8 and focused on each inhale and exhale, calming his racing heart. Earlier that morning, as part of his daily routine, he had unlocked the front gate just in case. Because of that simple habit, paramedics reached him quickly without delay. Later, at the hospital, doctors confirmed he had suffered a major heart attack, 95% blockage in a critical artery. They called it a miracle that he arrived in time with minimal heart damage. At his follow-up appointment, Harold said something I'll never forget. "The pain didn't scare me as much as the thought of not being ready. I was lucky, but mostly, I was prepared." His story, like many I've seen over the years, proves a powerful truth. Preparation isn't fear, it's empowerment. Now you know the 7 life-saving actions that could protect you or someone you love if a heart attack strikes when you're alone. Recognize the early signs, especially the unusual ones in older adults. Call emergency services immediately. Never drive yourself. Take aspirin the right way, chewed, not swallowed whole. Position your body to reduce stress on your heart. Use breathing techniques to calm your nervous system. In extreme situations, the controversial self-compression method, and most importantly, build a personal heart attack response plan before it's ever needed. If this video brought you clarity or peace of mind, please tap the like button. It lets us know we're creating content that matters. Share this with someone who lives alone or may not know these tips. You could change or even save their life. Have you already created an emergency plan for yourself or an aging loved one? Which of the 7 tips stood out most to you? Leave a comment below. We read every one and learn from your experiences. And if you'd like more practical health advice created especially for seniors, be sure to subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Life. We're here to help you not just live longer, but live wiser. Until next time, take care of your heart. It's never too late to be ready.